we want to say welcome you guys back to Red. You guys are veterans now. Like you're not strangers. You are seasoned to this thing. So we want to say thank you guys so much for just agreeing to come back on to Red Road Marriage Conversations. And we know tonight is going to be amazing. We were sharing before we brought you guys on that tonight we're going to be talking about such a timely topic, the grief factor.
Yes.
The grief factor. And in our 23 years, we would have experienced some grief. So before we get in, and we may have first-time viewers, persons who may just be tuning in, we want you guys just to kind of introduce yourself, to let them know who you are, how long you've been married, and then we'll dive in a little bit to our topic.
Also where they're from.
Oh, where you're from. Yes, where you are from. Thank you, baby.
Okay. I'm Clifton Davis.
And I'm Kenya Davis.
We have been married 5 years, a little over 5 years, and we've been together 6 years. We are from Texas.
Okay.
Currently living in San Antonio, Texas. Originally from East Texas. My queen, Miss Davis, here is a wonderful hairstylist. I mean, one of the best. You know, I'm talking about you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
but, you know, and, I am a mechanic. Currently trying to transition over into real estate. We are a blended family of 7 children. We love each other. We put God first, and we just hope to inspire someone tonight and give someone some good information that they can take along with them through their life journey.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's good. We had an experience. We visited Texas before,
yes.
and prior to visiting Texas, you would always hear the term the Big Texas, right?
Right.
You drive
through
Texas, then you really appreciate the name the Big Texas. Like we took, forever because we did a road trip. We drove all the way to San Francisco, but we drove all the way through Texas, and it felt like we would not get out of Texas. So we gained a new respect for Texas, right?
We actually had to spend the night in Texas.
Yes, we had to spend
in Dallas. Yeah, we spent a night in Dallas.
Yes, so, yes. It was an experience for us coming from, a small island like the Bahamas, because we have to fly by plane to each island. So it's kind of a different makeup. It was an awesome experience, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So tonight, guys, we want to say welcome again to all of our viewers now. And of course, people that will come back and watch the replay. Thank you guys so much. We know this podcast is going to bless you guys tonight. So tonight, we are talking about the grief factor. The grief factor. Experiencing loss. We understand that everyone deals with grief differently. And helping a partner who is grieving can be challenging.
Yes.
We know that. I mean, I remember when my father passed, Randy was like, Shaman, you crying for nothing. Like, I went to order a sandwich. He said, I broke down just to order a sandwich. So we understand that even in my experience, having to lose my dad and lose my mom, even both of them, it was I grieved differently during both times. But the big thing for me was Randy being that person, that spouse there who kind of helped me navigate through it. Share with us your experience with loss. Let our viewing audience know, how was your process of dealing with grief, or what you would have went through in your own words?
Well, with us, I lost my mom a year ago, and I've had 35 years with her. So my mom was like my best friend in the world. We had a really, really close relationship. And so, now that she is gone, I experienced a lot of lonely days. Cliff, he can tell when, I'm having a day. I remember one day I think I was at home alone. It might have been a few months after she passed. And I was listening to, you know, one of her favorite gospel songs. And I don't know, when I say something came over me, before you know it, I was on my knees and I was crying, crying, crying. And in that moment, I was like, who can I call to, you know, just to help me, to give me some encouraging words, or, you know, to pick me up. And I stayed on my knees and I immediately started praying, praying, praying. And I got my phone, I called my husband, and he was at work and he was like, I'm coming to you, because this is, you know, he had been waiting for this moment. And I was home alone. And so Cliff is always, you know, he has been there from the beginning. And I thank God that, like, I have someone close that I can talk to, you know, even though he's my friend, he's became my best friend, you know, since my mom has, you know, has been gone, because a lot of things that I share, you know, with him, he can relate to, because we experienced, you know, some things together. So, you know, I just thank God that he gave me someone there 24 hours a day to help me. So it's been a challenge, though. I can't say it has most definitely been a challenge, but he's been supportive. So.
Because, okay, that's good, Kenya. You know, I had a thought today, like, especially how life is set up. Normally you experience death and there is this big crowd, everyone is around you, and then it's after.
Yes.
When the crowd leaves and that reality sets in. I think that's when couples, married couples, are really faced with the real.
Yes, I think so too, because I always heard someone say during the death or before the funeral, there's never a time that you're lonely, because that's when everyone floods you and everyone's around you. Yes. The real healing comes when everyone is gone, and it's just you and your husband or your wife that's left alone. So this is the time now that you two need each other more.
Right.
Yeah, because this is the time that nobody else is around. When the doors close, the lights turn off, it's just you two. And Kenny, I can relate when you talked about listening to the song, that's your mom's favorite song. Because for me, my sister, she was like, every time I hit the road, because I drove a lot, she would always be the one that would call to keep me while I'm driving. We would talk my distance, and when I get there, she would say, okay, then you reach? I'll say yes, and then she would hang up, because she wanted to make sure you driving this distance, make sure you're awake. And a lot of times, even up to now, it's been 2 years, but sometimes I pick up my phone and I go to dial her number, then I'll have to remember that, you know, she's not longer with us. And, you know, and then reality sets in. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we would go through that, but it's always having somebody there that you can call on or talk to at all given time.
So what about those times when Clifton, did you have challenges not understanding Kenya, or like, okay, it's getting too much, it's maybe a bit overwhelming? Because we know, even though you love your spouse, you in a real world. And I could remember at one point when Randy had lost his sister, I didn't fully understand how bad he was hurting. And it wasn't until a very, very good friend of ours pointed it out to me that Randy was really, really going through more than I really saw. And that kind of really helped me to open my eyes and see him and see how he was really in a very, very bad place. And so I had to kind of shift my focus. And I like when you talked about Clifton, you know, just understanding that he had to just drop whatever because you needed him. Clifton, share your experience in maybe not understanding or it's getting overwhelming. How was it for you, the spouse who had to support your grieving wife?
For me, it was more or less knowing that she was going through something dramatic. I mean, a life-changing event. And for me, I was scared of her changing who she was. But I had to grasp that and say, well, I know she's going to change because she lost her mother.
Right.
And in the event of that, I was struggling with what to say to my wife, how to comfort her. You know, what would be the right time for me to say this, or what should I say now, or should I say it later, or, you know, and that's on anything, that even the smallest things, because I didn't want to trigger that emotion, or trigger that, you know, that way to make her think of something bad, because she was going through all these different emotions at one time. And at the time that she was dealing with it, she really didn't have time to grieve. So at the end, after everything was said and done, you know, it was just me and her. I didn't know what to say, or sometimes what to do. And I told her, I was just like, baby, I don't know. So I had to go, and I started researching how to love your spouse during grief. I started reading my Bible. I started, you know, trying to seek knowledge to help the situation. And ultimately, I filled that hole with some of it with the information that I found. And I told myself, you just got to be there, and don't worry about what's right and wrong to say. Just trust in God, and He'll give you what you need to say to her. So that was what it was for me.
Yes,
that's powerful, because it's common to not know what to say.
Yes,
it's common not to know how to react, but it's so important to just be present and know when. And I know women are kind of different from men. Like we'll tell you we want you there 1 minute, and then just leave me alone, because I just need to be alone, you know. And I don't know, Kenya, if you would have dealt with this, but we go through that. Like, I need you, baby, and then I just need some time to myself, and it'll happen in 5 minutes. But it's so important to have that spouse who's sensitive enough, and I can truly say Randy has been that person, you know, for me. He understands my crazy. He know I got that crazy without grief. You know, like I got that crazy without grief. So if something is really going on, like grief, you know, you just, the emotions are so high. And one of the things, you know, we cannot see the comments tonight. We can see there are persons that are on. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We hope this is blessing you guys. Grief is no easy thing. And one person say, you never get over it. You just learn how to deal with it.
Yes.
Because you can't bring a loved one back, you know, and it's just a process of learning to cope, learning how to live without that person who's been in your life, who's been special. And sometimes you grieve differently based on the entire situation. Like, no two situations are the same. So let's talk about the process. And timing. Many people put timing on. You shouldn't get over this.
Yes, they always say time heals.
Time heals.
Yes,
How?
I've heard that a whole lot. That time heals.
Right, like she done been gone XYZ time, or did you have that experience? And how, if you did, how do you feel about that?
With me, I hear a lot of, in time it will get easier, you know. And for me, I'm like, man, it's been a whole year.
Right.
I can still count down the days. It hadn't been that far where I can't say it's 398 or 400 and something days. So I haven't experienced the getting easier part. I learned to deal, to deal with it. For me right now is, you know, I'm so used to picking up the phone and calling her, you know, and having her to help me with my kids, you know, or giving me advice, you know, with my husband, my career, everything. So it's more for me to pick up the phone, the presence, you know. My mom was 55 when she passed away. Okay. And she was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So okay. she made a lot of decisions without us, you know, her children, because she knew what she wanted. And she was more of the type of person where she said, when God get ready for me, He's gonna come get me, and I'm okay with that, you know. And so we kind of just went through the motions, you know. We knew it was, you know, the time was coming. But for me, I think I deal with a lot because I took care of her for 10 months through her process, you know. So she was up, walking, talking, cooking, and then bam, you know, you have 4 months to live. 4 months turned into 10 months. And I was there through the whole transition all the way down. So I'm learning now, even after a year, that God gives us all assignments, you know, and I know, you know, that was mine. I used to, you know, hold a lot of anger because I had to do it alone, but I understand now because I have you know, my faith in God has grown so much more, and my relationship with my husband has become a whole lot better. Me and Cliff, I think we are more stronger. I feel like after dealing with that, we can conquer anything, you know, anything together. So I'm grateful. You know, I knew that God gave me a good husband, but I had no idea that he would be by my side as much as he was, you know, from the beginning all the way to the end, even now, you know. So for him, I'm glad you asked that question because, you know, me and Cliff really hadn't hit these, you know, this kind of conversation yet. And I wanted to know, you know, how he felt and, you know, the hard times, you know, the stressful times. And even now, I don't sleep a lot at nighttime. And he doesn't say a whole lot, but he's there. And it's enough for me. You know what I mean? Like it's enough. You know, some things I hold in because I'm still not, you know, ready to just, you know, express everything, you know, but he knows a lot and he helps me, you know, deal with the certain things that we've been through. So for you, what you think? Like you helped me out a whole lot.
Yeah, it's just a lot of times it's better to look and learn than to speak all the time, because when you start speaking too much, you're not learning anything. So you have to, I feel like you need to study your spouse and learn, you know, what times to speak and what time not to speak, you know, when to let her have her space and when not to, you know, because ultimately, you know, through the process, you don't want to be overwhelming as a spouse, because you don't want to push your spouse away, even though you love each other. But through a time of grief, you have so many emotions that you'll start pushing each other away. And that's not what you want. So you want to give each other that equal amount of time, you know, to grieve, because everybody grieves in a different way, no matter who you are. So by paying attention to your spouse, you'll learn when and when not to engage, or what and what not to say, and just things like that. You don't want to trigger the nerve of, I hate this person, or not necessarily hate this person, but I don't want to be around this person, you know. So that can turn into other things.
And I think for us, like my mom, I feel like she gave us some nuggets and some things to go by because she knew she was leaving. So we spend a lot of one-on-one time with her. Cliff spent a lot of one-on-one time with her, you know, and she talked to both of us, you know, in ways, and, you know, how to keep our marriage together and keeping people out, you know, and things like that, and support. So I know I hold on to the things that she said. I know she told me, she said, you're going to have to hold your mouth. You know, she was like, sometimes you have to realize that some of the things you say, she said, they cut like a knife. And that was, I guess, the short time that she was in the house with us. You know, she was observant of a lot of things. And, you know, she was still teaching all the way to the day she passed away, you know. So it's like, you know, we experienced a few times where we thought she was going to go, but every time we thought she was going to go, she got some life in her and was like, I'm not going anywhere yet. Not going anywhere yet. So when it did happen, you know, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. But it was just a kind of a smooth transition. So I thank God for the moments. I know that it brought us closer together. I feel like me and him have a special kind of bond that I would never be able to share with anybody else, because of, what we've been through. So,
That's good.
mhm.
Did it ever get overwhelming?
Oh yes, like it came a time where like I said, I was taking care of my mom by myself, and with Cliff's job, they were wanting to send him out of town for weeks at a time, and he knew that he could not leave me for weeks at a time. So some big things happened in the process of that, because Cliff had to make a decision. Do we go out of town and work, or do he stay and help me with mama, and and I had to with the nursing part.
Yeah.
So I never really knew how he felt about that, but share with me. I'm interested now since we've been talking about it.
Well, for me, it wasn't a hard decision, because it's not an amount of money that could make me leave or not be there for you. So, I mean, it's just, as a man, you have to learn to shift for as finances and everything else. So, I mean, I pretty much, I stepped out on faith and trusted God. I walked off the job,
Come on now.
to make sure that you were okay. Because as a man, I felt like I needed to be there for you in any kind of way that I needed to be there for you. So, I mean, with that being said, I don't regret anything that I've done, or far as I do it all again tomorrow. I mean, I would.
Oh.
And for me, the overwhelming part never was the part to where you go and I have to leave a job or anything like that. That's not the overwhelming part. The overwhelming part for me was when my mind is running so fast of trying to find a way to heal your hurt. That's the overwhelming part.
Yeah.
Because if you hurt, then I hurt. Because we won. And I mean, that's what's overwhelming for me. Everything else is cakewalk. That's easy. It's just when you see your wife laying in the bed and she, either you crying or you hurting in some kind of way, your face expression change. You can holler and fuss at me all day. I can deal with that. You can take your anger out on me. I can deal with that. But I cannot deal with, I can't deal with my queen hurting in some kind of way, or having a hole that can't be that can't be filled, because it's just, as a man, and I love you, my mind is constantly going like, what do I need to do to help the situation? What do I need to do to help her feel better, to make her day better, just to put a smile on her face, just to anything? So that's the part that was overwhelming for me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We don't need these notes. Like, that was powerful right there.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So the overwhelmingness came from a positive place where you just wanted to know, like, how are we gonna fix this? Let's be more solution oriented. It's overwhelming. I need to see her smile. Oh, that's powerful. We don't have much time. We gotta do this. We gotta come back. Like, this gotta be part two, because so many couples hearing you guys talk, and we've experienced it. I remember one day during my mom's death, Randy, he texted me, and he said to me, he said, Charmin, he expressed to me what my mom meant to him. And he expressed to me that he was hurting too. And we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna heal, and we're gonna go through this whole thing together. And that made the world of a difference to me. And I was focused on me, but he was hurting as well. So understanding that even though that spouse, that may not be their biological family blood relative, they build a bond, they build a relationship. So they're hurting even while they're trying to help you walk through this process. So that was one of my learning experiences during this season of my life. But we gotta come back and do this again, because so many married couples have not learned to handle grief, and sometimes it ends in separation.
Yeah, because I know I had a friend of mine. He had contacted me one time for advice, and he said his wife dad had passed, and say, you know what, Randy, I'm so tired of her crying. So she cries all day, all night. No matter what I do to try to comfort her, she just won't stop crying. So he's like, he's had it. He's just tired of it. And you know, and it was so funny. After we were done talking, I saw her, and soon as she saw me, she started to talk to me, and she started crying again, saying how much her father meant to her and all the different stuff. And I was telling him, I said, buddy, if that's your wife, you have to go through. You have to grieve with her. While she grieves, you have to grieve also.
Yes, yes.
You know, so a lot of times when one spouse grieves, it actually brings a whole lot of weight in the marriage. But if the other spouse isn't, you know, compassionate, understanding what's going on with their spouse, it would definitely cause a big problem in the marriage. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that you guys really did good with that.
Yes, you brought so much clarity to just understanding how you support your spouse. Our producer just told us we have 30 seconds. Listen, this is so good. We definitely have to bring you guys back on, because we could feel there's so much more that you have to say, and however long we need to bring you guys back. Once you agree to accept coming back, we definitely want to bring you guys back on so we could continue this conversation. We're talking about how to help your spouse heal. And you answered so much questions for so many of our audience that's viewing tonight. We want to say thank you so much to Clifton and Kenya Davis. Powerful couple, guys. Please go and follow them. They are amazing. They do so much. They have lost a whole lot of weight with their platform on TLC. So listen, these guys are a power couple, and they are helping each other heal. While I'm talking about, these are entrepreneurs, so these are no lightweight couples, guys. Please go ahead and follow them and just watch their journey. Amazing married couple. We just want to say hats off to you guys. We love and appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for coming on tonight. And we will definitely be announcing when you guys are going to come back so we can continue this conversation.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
You want to say anything? You good? Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and close out.
Yes, Father, we give you thanks and praise once more. We bless you, God. We honor you for who you are. And Father, most of all, God, we ask that whatever has been said today, God, be a blessing to somebody else and be able to help somebody else's marriage. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We love y'all.
Amen. Love y'all. Thank you. Bye-bye.